Welcome, Chris.
Cool. Thank you, T. Really appreciate that introduction. And yes, my name's Chris, everyone. I'm with Nansen, and I want to thank not only everyone who's joining today, but also the SVS community founders. You guys have been great to work with, so I really appreciate the opportunity to present Nansen to your community today. Apologies for the technical issues. I went ahead and muted everyone on Zoom, so we shouldn't have any of that feedback as we were having earlier. And then also I want to give a really special thanks to everyone who has participated in the surveys. The surveys were a really fantastic tool to get a better understanding of what the community members here at SVS and their relation with Nansen. Just a little bit of feedback from the surveys. It seems like nearly 50% of those who participated didn't have too much experience with Nansen, and then the other percentages on the other half had a little bit of experience or they knew about Nansen, but really haven't given it a try. So I think today is going to be a great opportunity to take a deep dive into Nansen. And as was mentioned earlier, if you want to follow along with the trial that you have for 2 weeks, that would be today's a great opportunity to do that. So you can kind of get a general understanding of how to navigate Nansen and then dive into the other aspects of the agenda that we have here today. So if you didn't get an email and you were on the list, either you took a survey or you reached out to the SVS founders, please reach out. I'm happy to kind of get that sorted at the end of today's session. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into today's agenda. So first, to kick it off, I'm going to provide everyone with an overview of what Nansen is, what we do, and how we can help you to navigate the crypto space. Afterwards, we'll dive into the platform itself. So we'll actually do a live demo on Nansen, and then we'll get a better understanding of how you can navigate Nansen, so you know where to go. Then once you get the general navigation down, then we'll dive into some very specific NFT focused tools. Based upon the survey, a majority of you were really heavily focused in the NFT space, so I thought tailoring today's demo would be best used in diving into some of our NFT tools. And then towards the end, I'd like to just touch a little bit on some of our smart money tools as well, since some of you not only are focused in the NFT space, but also do a bit of everything, whether it be token trading or DeFi. And then to finish up the presentation today, I'd like to spend maybe 5 to 10 minutes addressing any questions that you may have while on Nansen. And then just one thing before we get into today's introduction. At about the 1 week mark, when everyone is about 1 week into their trial, I'm going to share a quick questionnaire with everyone. It's just going to be two quick questions, and it would be greatly appreciated if you could all participate. One question is going to be if you have any questions after your 1 week process that we didn't address today, or your 1 week time using the trial. And then the second question will just be about some feedback that you may have for us while trialing Nansen. Great. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the Nansen platform. All right. And then if I could just get a verbal okay from one of the SVS members that you guys can see my screen, everything looks good, then I can go ahead and kick it off.
Yeah, we can see it looks good.
Yeah,
Right, excellent.
also I just wanted to remind people if you haven't yet tuned into the Zoom where Chris is screen sharing, it's in the announcements. Just one last reminder for people who haven't yet.
Awesome. Thank you. Great. So now that we have Nansen loaded up, in order to go ahead and get started, you'll just come up to your web browser and type in pro.nansen.ai. It'll present you with the home screen, and then there you can log in if you haven't done so already. And then once you load up Nansen, it's going to present you with a few widgets and pretty much a ton of information right as you hop on board. But before we hop into all of these different widgets that we see here on the screen, I'd like to just focus our attention on the left-hand side to just get a general understanding of how to navigate Nansen. So in the upper left corner, you'll notice that we have an Ethereum icon along with a drop-down menu. So this is going to be the drop-down menu of all the chains that we support. As you can see, we have Polygon, Phantom, a few others. Some that are coming down the pipeline are going to be Optimism, Arbitrum, Solana, and Terra. So keep an eye out for those as they hop on board Nansen. For today's demonstration, we'll just stick with Ethereum as it's the most robust and has a ton of data. In addition to that, on the left side, we have some of the dashboards that are going to present us with kind of the quick access to the most popular dashboards. Some of them being NFT Paradise, which we'll touch on in a few moments, and smart money as well. Just below that, we have a list of expandable categories where you can take a look at a variety of different tools under the discovery, diligence, NFT. And then if I go ahead and select all of these, we can see all of the additional dashboards that we have available for the corresponding title. Great, so that's a general navigation of Nansen. So now that we touch on that, I'd just like to give a high-level overview of Nansen and what we do. So here at Nansen, what we do is we aggregate on-chain data, and we take this data and we basically place it into easy-to-digest dashboards. So these dashboards allow us to kind of surface out the signal on the blockchain and filter out all of the noise. As many of you may know, it's quite challenging to use Etherscan or some of the other chain scanning tools, whereas Nansen will help to make it much more user-friendly to identify opportunities in the crypto space. In addition to not only aggregating this data and making it kind of digestible, Nansen also adds value to the on-chain data by enriching it with behavioral wallet labels. So these behavioral wallet labels, what they'll do is they basically track the behavior or the types of transactions that take place on individuals' wallets. So to get a little bit more information about what our labels are on Nansen, I definitely recommend coming down to the lower right corner and then selecting this green bubble here. So this green bubble is going to provide us with a list of different resources. As you can see, we have some investment use case videos and tutorials, but we also have this section that says wallet labels labels and terminology. So if I select this one, wallet labels, what do they mean? And then select read more, this will present me with a glossary. So all of the labels that you'll see on the Nansen platform, whether that be something that states a first mover or it has this nerd emoji, you'll be able to identify that that is a smart money label, and then come to the glossary to find more information on what that label means. So as you can see here, we have some labels for funds, we have smarter liquidity providers, we have labels for the NFT space, such as traders, hodlers, or early adopters. And then we have some additional type of behavioral labels down here. So if a wallet carries a balance of over 1 million, then we will label that, and also some trader types. And then scrolling down towards the bottom, some additional NFT labels. And then lastly, we have our legend down here for our emojis. So you'll notice a smart money emoji. We'll cover that in a few moments. And then some other emojis here as well, signifying contracts or exchanges. So that's one of the resources that we have available on Nansen. So if I come back to the home page here, what I can do is also use these labels to be alerted of different transactions that take place on the blockchain. So because Nansen has labeled these, we can now set up alerts to be alerted if a certain label meets a criteria, then we can be alerted of a different transaction or transfer that takes place on the blockchain. So let me share an example here. So if I click into the smart alerts at the upper right, and then from the smart alerts, as you can see, I have a few alerts already pre-created that I've made myself. But I can create a new alert here. And what this is going to allow me to do is to set my alert name. So what does my alert want to be? So if I wanted to just say NFT trades, I could do such. And then from there, I can pretty straightforward. You set your parameters of your network. You'll select which type of alert you'd like to create. We'll select NFTs only. And then you have the option to create a simple or an advanced alert. So the simple alerts will allow you to select 2 event types, either trading and transfers or minting. The advanced alert will allow you to set up an alert on a specific collection or minting that takes place, select the collection, And then you can set your parameters of the minimum trading volume for the past hour or past day. And then this is where the labels come in. So you can then say, I want to be alerted of, sneaky vampire. I want to be alerted of this collection with a minimum volume of ETH over the past hour. You can set that. And then I want to know when any smart NFT trader is interacting with Sneaky Vampire Syndicate. So that's just one example. And then there's a few ways of how you can be notified. So if you have the Telegram, Discord, or Slack app on your mobile device as well, you can be alerted. And there's some instructions on how you can set that up as well. So really big value add is we label these wallets for their behaviors, and then you can actually be alerted once these wallet labels meet a certain criteria that suits your needs. So in addition to that, we also have watch lists up here in the upper right. And the watch list will allow you to add different wallets, tokens, or NFTs so you can keep track of them. You can have up to 20 for each of these. And for the smart alerts, since you're on the standard trial, you can create up to 3 smart alerts while you're on your trial period. And then for those of you who may want to explore VIP later, the alerts increase exponentially to about 100 alerts for VIP. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into the homepage. And I just want to give you a quick overview of this, and then we'll move into our first bit of the agenda, which is going to take a look at the NFT tools, specifically the Nft Indexes. So just really quickly here on the homepage, this is going to present you with a snapshot of everything that's taken place in the crypto or digital assets markets over the past 24 hours. We have some widgets looking at smart contracts. So these hot contracts section are going to be the largest capital inflows from our smart money depositors over the past 24 hours. We can also see the hottest NFTs, and then where smart money is allocating their capital when it comes to token analysis. So that's just a quick overview of the homepage. And then just lastly, we can also see some of the most popular news that's taking place within crypto on the day as well. So this one I find pretty useful to just stay on top of the latest. All right, so on the left-hand side, let's go ahead and dive into our NFT tools down here and jump into the NFT indexes. So try to structure this as a little bit of a workflow so you can understand maybe how to begin looking for opportunities. So in my mind, I like to look at this from like a macro perspective. So we're starting at a very broad overview and then starting to drill down into different segments so that we can find a particular opportunity. So in order to start with a really broad overview, what I like to present here is the NFT indexes. So these indexes are a really actually new tool on Nansen, and they're fantastic because they break down the different sectors within the NFT space. So as you can see, we have a variety of different indexes here, some that kind of mimic traditional finance, such as the Nansen NFT 500, similar to the S&P 500, where it's taking the largest NFTs based upon market cap. And then we have some additional ones here as well, our Nansen Blue Chip, the Game 50, Art 20 Metaverse, and so on. And here, I like this tool because we can see how well these different sectors have performed over the past 30 days as well as on the day. One thing that I thought was really interesting, taking a look at this today, was noticing that the Metaverse 20 has actually had a very significant jump in the index points on the day. So we're up 28% and about 2.4% over the past 30 days. Whereas you could see some of these other indexes aren't performing as well, such as Art or the Game 50 relative to the Metaverse 20. So I like to look at this and get a general understanding as to which index is performing the best. You can hop into each of these in a little bit more detail. So if I was going to, let's actually use the Metaverse example. You can click into the index itself. You can look at the methodology here. So if you'd like to read and get a little bit more analytical as to how the methodology is calculated for these, you can select that. But here we can see that chart. Over the past 30 days, we had our lowest low back in March, created a high just a few days ago, and now we're moving into a lower high. So this seems to be trending in an uptrend. So it could be interesting to keep an eye on this over the next few days and see if we continue to move in an uptrend. Other than that, if we scroll down a little bit further, we can take a look at what are the largest movers in terms of the members of the index. And it looks like a majority of the index market cap is based upon the land and real estate uh, in the metaverse. So that's a really big driver of the performance on this one. And then you can kind of see the daily market cap category, which we see this large spike in land and real estate on the index. And then, of course, you need your members for an index. So this is going to present you with all of those members and the corresponding market caps and just general metrics. We've seen SAND, not only the collection itself take off, but also the token has been moving over the past couple days. So we can see some of the corresponding metrics here, such as the floor price change over the past 24 hours, 7 days, and so on. And then anything on Nansen, if you are interested in sorting, you have the capability to do so. So you can sort by the column headers. So if I want to adjust by market cap or take a look at the largest volume over the past 24 hours, you could just click the column header and then it'll sort that for you. So that was an overview of our NFT indexes. So with that, let's go ahead and dive into the next part of our agenda, which is going to be a discussion on NFT Paradise. So NFT Paradise, what is it? It's going to provide you with a few different metrics or bits of information that will be another kind of macro overview of the NFT space, which you can drill down based upon the marketplace. So on the upper left corner, you'll notice that we have two kind of adjustable tools. So first we have our marketplace filter. So I can select either all marketplaces, either initial mints by themselves, OpenSea, LooksRare, or a combination of both with mints. So let's take a look at OpenSea. And we also have this wash trading filter. So this has been a really big enhancement that's also pretty new. Our NFT team is constantly cranking out new tools to add value to our platform and to Nansen explorers. So they've been working hard and they've put a lot of thought into what are the best tools for the the modern day NFT trader. So this wash trading filter, what it does is it allows you to filter out all of the inorganic trades that take place. So for example, LooksRare was incentivizing a lot of its users to trade in order to gain rewards. And that artificially inflates the volume that takes place on the marketplace. So what we did is the NFT team created a wash trade filter. And what that does is it uses an algorithm to basically filter out trades that are taking place between two wallets or transfers. So it'll help to reduce the amount of inorganic trading volume and really help you to surface the signal in particular on a marketplace. So here we have our 24-hour NFT market overview. Just some really general information, but also very, very powerful and helpful. So we can see some of the largest collections based upon their market cap and volume in ETH, and then the corresponding number of wallets that hold this collection, as well as how the floor has adjusted over the past few days, and some general information on how long ago it was deployed. We calculate market cap by taking the average price and then multiplying it by the number of NFTs in the collection. So that's how we come up to this number here. Scrolling down a little bit, we can take a look at the volume on the day over the past 24 hours. We see some spikes on the Bored Ape Yacht Club, and it looks like volume's kind of tapered off as of now. Something that I really like on this page here in particular is the profit leaderboard. So we talked about smart alerts earlier and how we could set those up. We can also set up smart alerts to track a particular profit leader who's performed very well when it comes to trading NFTs. Now, if I wanted to dive in a little bit deeper on these individuals or entities wallets, what I can do is I can right click and it gives you a couple of options here. So I can view the NFT wallet profiler, And if I wanted to do that, I can just take a quick deep dive into this person's wallet, see what their holdings are in terms of NFTs, what they've been buying or selling, and then also see how liquid the NFTs in their collection are. So this helps to give you a snapshot into this person's wallet, where in traditional finance the ability to do this was really not possible. Whereas on the blockchain, we can take a look and see what these larger players are doing, and potentially kind of follow their strategies and maybe adjust them to what suits you. So if I scroll down a little bit further, we can see the NFT portfolio holdings in the balances. This person's got 127. And then we have some general metrics here to take a look at what the current value is, the liquidity velocity, how easily it can be turned into ETH, or how easy it is to be sold. And then we have our liquidity score here. So if we have a high liquidity score, that means that it can be turned into ETH relatively easily. And then on the liquidity velocity side, we can see that a score that is getting worse means it's becoming less liquid, whereas a score that is getting better means that it's becoming more liquid. And then we can see how well this person has been in terms of their profitability, based upon the amount of purchases and sales of their holdings. So some pretty cool stuff there. And then if you wanted to create an alert on this, you could simply click up here, copy their address, and then you could add that address into the Smart Alert, Simple Alert section. So let's jump back into NFT Paradise, and we'll take a look at the Mint Master tabs and a few more of these before jumping into NFT God Mode. So Mint Master, for those of you who have a minting strategy, this is a really great tool, as there are two kind of key components that really help this tool shine. One of them is the FOMO level tool, and then the second one is the ability to see how many smart minters are minting a collection or a project. So the FOMO level takes a look at the amount of minters that are minting in the past 15 minutes. So anything on Nansen, if you see this eye icon, you could just hover over it and it'll present you with more information. So in this case, we have our ranking score. So 5 to 20 minters over the past 15 minutes means low. So it looks like on Neko Core, we have some low FOMO levels, so that kind of outpaces anything else. But in addition to that, we can also see that there's 24 smart minters on this Jake times Jenkins collection. So with the amount of FOMO plus the amount of smart minters behind this, that could be something worth noticing and keeping an eye on. If I scroll down a little bit more, we can see some additional metrics for minters, minting volume, and smart minters. Something that is pretty interesting is to kind of see if there's any correlation between minting volume and smart minters. As of today, I don't see too much of a correlation, but typically if you see something that has a lot of minting volume as well as smart minters, that could also be a signal of something to keep an eye on. And then just like we saw earlier, we saw the profit leaderboard on the NFT Market Overview tab. We have a very similar tab here for where we could take a look at the minting leaderboard and see how profitable these entities are when it comes to minting. And same thing, we could right click into this, take a deep dive into this person's wallet, and then also see what they've bought and sold, and then set up alerts if a minter's strategy is something that is interesting to you. Cool, so let's dive into smart money now. So smart money, as we discussed earlier, we can check all of the smart money labels by clicking on this lower right hand corner, and then that's going to present us with the smart money labels right over here. And then towards the top, we can see all of the different specific NFT traders, hodlers, and early adopters, as well as minters, and the corresponding description. So here we can track to see what smart money is doing with their capital and what type of transactions are taking place with the corresponding NFT collection. So you can kind of sort by the type here. I like to take a look at the buys and see if there are quite a few buys from different addresses. It looks like there's a lot of smart minters, looking like there's buys on Zombie Token Club. But what I also like to take a look at is the breakdown of smart buys, sells, and mints. So here we can see over the past 24 hours, what is smart money buying? It looks like MPL has probably the highest volume in terms of smart buys, and then the top amount of smart buyers as well. And then Mutant Yacht Club coming in second place, also a really popular project. And then smart sells. You can see what smart money is potentially offloading in order to take a profit on. So it looks like Goop Dudes as well as Yuga Punks. And then lastly, as we touched on just a few moments ago, we can see the smart mints here as well, and what smart money is doing with the smart mints. So it looks like there's a lot of smart minters on this zombie club. As we saw earlier, we saw the smart minter labels with the buy type, and that could be a pretty popular project as the ETH is pretty significant in terms of volume there as well. And then lastly, we have some additional data visuals. These data visuals display general net profit and loss. So if you hover over each of these icons, it'll show you what is the profit and loss on the day. It looks like back in January there was quite some losses, and then over the past few days here in the future there's been some reasonable profits here as well. You can see the daily NFT investments, so has kind of gone down recently, and then the returns, the corresponding returns here. Great, so let's dive into this trends tab before we hop into NFT God mode. So now we're taking a look at the trends on OpenSea with the wash trading filter on. We can see on a very macro level what takes place on OpenSea. There's a ton of volume in ETH taking place. However, the volume over the past, this is year-to-date volume, but the volume over the past 30 days has dipped 42%. So that's just kind of a sign that the NFT market may be taking a breather. But hopefully we continue an uptrend here off of this low in terms of the volume. So here we have some volume on secondary sales, as well as general charts and information on transactions. You can see that transactions as well as the number of users have been tapering off. But like I said, hopefully we'll see a turn in that trend. And then lastly, we can see some of the most expensive purchases. So a lot of this is Bored Ape Yacht Club. And then if you hover over this, you can see which of these NFTs within the collection have been sold, along with their corresponding price. And you can see who the buyer and the seller were. And then just like our previous examples with the minting leaderboard and profit leaderboard, you can right click into these wallets and take a deep dive and view what these entities are doing with their capital. Great, and then just some other additional metrics down here. We can see the contract activity on projects, as well as the 7-day users per contract. Looks like a lot of users. Of course, we're only looking at OpenSea, so it's only going to display OpenSea here. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into our NFT God Mode tool. So NFT God Mode is going to help us to conduct that once we've identified that particular collection. In this case, we'll take a look at Sneaky Vampire Syndicate. Once we've identified that, after taking a look at like an index, and then we take a look at NFT Paradise to get a general overview, and we've identified an opportunity, when we'll use Sneaky Vampire in this example, we can then come into NFT God Mode in order to get more information on a particular collection. So here I'll just type in Sneaky Vampire, and then we can select this here. And then in Sneaky Vampire Syndicate, we have it loaded up. We'll be presented with a variety of different metrics on the Overview tab. Just some high-level general information, such as the amount of NFTs in circulation, some links to if you want to hop over to OpenSea or Etherscan to do a little bit more review, as well as where the price has been trading over the past few days. So we have our average price, volume, how the floor is adjusted, and then the individual transactions down here. So we can see where some of the NFT smart buyers are purchasing, and then we can see kind of where the rest of the common buyers are purchasing as well. So this person, as a smart buyer, we can track this person's wallet and just kind of be alerted of whether or not this person is making a trade and what they're getting in at. So this is a really cool tool to be able to track where smart money is getting into a particular project. All right, so that's kind of a general overview tab. If we go down here into the breakdown, we can see all of the different transactions and balance changes that take place, specifically for Sneaky Vampire Syndicate. So it looks like on the day, it looks like the SVS graveyard has that's a contract from Sneaky Vampire. But we can see some NFT collectors purchasing on the day, a few sales. And if I scroll down a little bit more, we can see all who holds the top balances. So it looks like Structure.eth, Prince Ryan, as these individual entities hold a large balance. Looks like Prince Ryan on Openc recently acquired 29, so that's pretty cool. And if I scroll down a little bit further, we can see the balances over time. So the balances have stayed pretty flat, which is a good thing. Typically, when the balances are very linear, it means that people are holding on to this collection for quite some time. And we can see kind of where smart money has been buying and selling over time as well. We have a lot of very linears here, some that are buying and holding and selling in over a few months' time. And then general metrics here on the kind of settlement currency, and then where a majority of people are making purchases. It looks like Openc is definitely going to be the lion's share here at 78%, very small percent on LooksRare, and then we have about 21% in mints. Great, so that's the breakdown. So hodlers. So on the hodlers breakdown, we can see kind of how long people have been holding this NFT collection for, how many smart money owners are currently in it, and then the breakdown of what type of smart money owners these are, whether they're minters, hodlers, collectors, and so on. So everything looks like everybody is pretty much holding for the most part. And then we see a pretty good trajectory here in terms of the percent of people holding one NFT. So that's a really good sign there. And then we have some diamond hands metrics here as well. And then lastly, the profit leaderboards, specifically for Sneaky Vampire Syndicate. So the corresponding profits that these individuals have made, trading Sneaky Vampire or buying and holding them. And then very similar, we can right click and then move into NFT Wallet Profiler if we'd like to kind of take a deeper dive into these individuals' wallets. All right, so let's take a look at the trades. This is a fairly new section here, but once this loads up, looks like we have a little bit of data here, but we can see the addresses buying, the corresponding table view, smart money buying. So we saw on our previous individual transactions when we were taking a look at the homepage, this was the wallet address that had that buy. It was that yellow bubble at a really great entry. So if I wanted to kind of do a deeper dive onto this person's wallet, I could do that, or set up alerts once they are making transactions. And then we can see all of the recent transaction history, who the sender, the receiver are. So we can kind of see if there's any trends taking place between different wallets. All right, so let's dive into kind of the next sections of NFT God Mode. So we have this new tool here, and this new tool has actually recently been produced by our NFT team. And what they did is they wanted to we had a lot of requests, and we're really big on feedback. And we had a lot of requests come in to kind of take a look at what the overlap is between different collections in people's wallets. So what the team did is they went ahead and created this dashboard so that we can see kind of the similar or top 3 related collections that individuals hold. So if somebody is holding Sneaky Vampire Syndicate, typically they're going to be holding Sneaky Vampire Syndicate, Sneaky Bat Syndicate. And then we have another NFT collection here that we haven't labeled quite yet. So that could be something interesting to dive into. So here we can see the most holders on most held ownership. So if we're looking at Sneaky Vampire Syndicate, 43% of the owners of Sneaky Vampire Syndicate make up 15% within the Sneaky Vampirus Syndicate holdings. And then we can see some other additional ones down here, like Mutant Ape. We saw that trading on our smart buys earlier today. So that's another large holders of Vampire, or excuse me, Mutant Ape Yacht Club are also Sneaky Vampire Syndicate holders, along with a few others. And we can see all of the different transactions by these individual owners, and then the corresponding related NFT collection as well. And some more new tools here, the latest 24-hour buy activity, how many people are buying, what are they buying, and what percentage of the holders from Sneaky Vampire Syndicate are in there. And then just like we saw earlier, kind of similar to what we were seeing on our smart buys section, we can see the smart buys, mints, and sells for these related ones, specifically related to Sneaky Vampire Syndicate. So if you want to get an understanding of what other people are doing who are holding Sneaky Vampire Syndicate, this is a really great tool to take a look at. All right, and then lastly, we'll dive into Rarity. So Rarity is going to present us with a bit of a score and a ranking to see how rare different traits are within Sneaky Vampire Syndicate's collection. So we can see some of the general metrics here of how many traits there are, and then the trait types inside of the collection, as well as the corresponding score and what the recent trade was, and if it was at a gain or at a loss. It looks like a majority of them have been at a gain, except this one. But if we wanted to dive into Rarity into a little bit more detail, I can come over here to our Rarity profiler under the NFT section, and then I can just search for Sneaky Vampire. And then I can select a trait. So we have a trait with a corresponding score. So how many of these NFTs have this particular trait? So if I wanted to look at the karate trait, I could show the NFT data. And then this is going to provide me with the rarity score, a rank, as well as what the last price has been for that particular score there, or NFT. And this is great as it'll allow you to get an understanding of how rare these are and what kind of it's been trading for recently. So it'll help to give you at least a reasonable estimate based upon the last sold date. And of course, this can change depending upon what the current price is at the market time. And that kind of brings me into the segue into another new tool that we created. And it's going to be our NFT price estimator. And the NFT price estimator right now, you won't have access as a standard user, but I just wanted to bring it up because VIP and standard user, or excuse me, VIP and our alpha community get access to a few features before everyone else. So the price estimator being one of them. It's currently still in beta, but it's a really great tool to kind of show what the fair value at the current market rate and where the market sits right now for a particular NFT, and then the corresponding or a particular collection and the corresponding NFT. So in this example, currently we only cover a few collections, Mutant Ape Yacht Club being one of them, just due to the extensive amount of machine learning that's required in order to run this and then come up with an estimated price. But just wanted to give you a quick snapshot of what it looks like. We have our item ID, all of the metrics that we have for our Nansen estimated price, how it's kind of changed over the past day, as well as the price premium, so we're up 45%. And a breakdown of the traits, as well as the price history on a line graph here. So we can look back to January and just kind of see how this is trended. It looks like we have kind of started making an uptrend, but we've come down quite a bit where our floor price has dropped quite significantly, but we are kind of back up a few ETH on the day. and then we can see the price distribution of all of the estimates and kind of how that's changed recently. So that was our price estimator. I do want to give the last, maybe I'll dive into smart money for like the next 3 minutes, and then we'll give the last 10 minutes for Q&A. So for those of you who participate in the survey, many of you mentioned that you do a little bit of everything. So I want to just present a few tools on Nansen outside of what's available in the NFT space. So if you're doing token analysis or taking a look at potential liquidity pools that you may provide liquidity to, I definitely recommend coming up to the smart money segment. In the smart money segment, very similar to the NFT Paradise tool, we can kind of segment this out to take a look at a specific label within smart money. So if I select this, I like to look at the funds because the funds goal is to generate alpha for their clients. So if I select submit there, this is going to present me with all of the crypto funds and their addresses that we have labeled here at Nansen, such as this one, Alameda Elite Dex Trader, and we have the smart money symbol there. And we can see that Alameda provides a lot of liquidity to these pools on Uniswap and SushiSwap. And we can see what tokens they are allocating to these pools. If I take a look at the transactions here, I can see all of the different funds and where they've been placing their capital. Have they been selling it? What kind of counter transactions have been taking place? But another cool thing is to take a look at the token holdings and see where smart money is allocating a majority of their capital. So looking at the funds right now, it looks like a lot of it is in Bitcoin and some stable coins in Binance. And it looks like we just updated. So it looks like a lot of majority of the capital is being held in stable coins. But we can see some interesting projects down here as well. We can also see some of the balance distribution, who's kind of at the profit, who's at the leaderboard in terms of the amount of capital by these funds. It definitely looks like Alameda is at the top. We can see that Alameda's current balance of wallets that we have labeled is about $1 trillion, or nearly 2 trillion, or 1 billion, excuse me. And then from there, we can see like who's been at the top of the leaderboards for that as well. And if I wanted to take a dive into a particular token, we do have a token god mode as well. So if you wanted to get a little bit more information on one of these tokens, you could right click on it, go to token god mode, and very similar to what we did in NFT god mode, you can start to conduct analysis on a particular token, see the top balance changes, top transfers on this token, and really see if smart money entities are either allocating capital to the token or if they are going to be withdrawing money. So with that, let's go ahead and jump into our Q&A session. I just want to give those the last 10 minutes so everybody can take a look or ask questions. So let me hop back into Discord, and that way I can address some questions.
So I see one person's got his hand up so far, so I'll invite him up to speak, ZW, and then if anyone else has any questions for the last 10 minutes, be sure to raise your hand, and I'm sure Chris can answer as best as he can.
Yep. Hi. Okay, so I was just wondering, because the tool also talks about DeFi and all that. Would it be possible if you have a separate one which is just for NFT, and perhaps the price would be at a cheaper rate as compared to the current rate? Because if I'm signing up for this, but like I'm just using it for NFT, then I don't see why am I paying so much for the full suite of things. Yep.
Right. No, and I appreciate that feedback. I can definitely kind of relay that feedback to our team. But as of now, as it sits, Nansen is definitely going to be like an all-in-one. Your kind of go-to for all things within the crypto space, not just NFTs, although our NFT tools are really useful and provide a lot of great analytics. We also see that many people are kind of dabbling in different places within the industry. So I will definitely still relay that feedback. So I appreciate you bringing that up.
Yep. Okay. Thanks. That's all. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. What other questions does everyone have? And
Yeah, if people don't
feel
want
free
to
to
raise
ask a
their hand
question.
as well,
Anything.
just ask in the chat as well. I'm sure we can read them out.
Anything on, anything that we went over in particular, whether it be, the indexes or
Yeah, you
some of the
guys.
NFT pairs.
Yeah, if some of you guys don't want to raise your hands, you can just ask in chat, like Ryan said. If not, I guess I could ask you a question, Chris.
Sure.
Yeah. So, I think we have a hand someone brought up, but yeah, my personal question was just, what's your favorite part of Nansen or using Nansen?
That's a great question. So what I like about Nansen is definitely going to be, I'm pretty big on like the token side of things. That's kind of how I got my start into crypto. So what I like to do is look at token God mode, and kind of do an analysis on different tokens that I'm kind of scoping out. So for example, like if I wanted to look at a Luna token back in I believe it was like October, there was like a really big accumulation of Luna token into smart money wallets. So our Nansen Alpha team was able to identify this by kind of going into our notable wallets tools inside of our token God mode. And then from there, we can see some of the balance changes that take place. So with the smart money entities, it's labeled as a smart money emoji. So, and Parify is a crypto fund. So here we saw that they own about, previously they owned about 6% of all the supply of Luna. So, I mean, that's a fairly substantial amount. So what I did is kind of looked into this a little bit further and with the wallet profiler for token. And the wallet profiler for token is going to give me a breakdown of Parify's capital allocation in their wallet specifically for this Luna token. And during its run up, think we've seen like Luna breach $100 again recently, but during its kind of a run up from like 28 to $30 back in October, we saw Luna and Parify's accumulation move in tandem, where they were continually accumulating like hundreds of thousands of Luna token and having a value of 23 million. And we could see the breakdown here in the largest token transaction section and all of the different transactions going back to October. So they're purchasing 7,000 at a time. You set up a smart alert on this. You see the consistent trend of acquiring Luna from Parify, and it was a pretty big trade here. So this one's really, at least one of my favorite tools on Nansen.
I think that's pretty helpful to the guys who are listening and are a bit newer as well. Because it might be a little bit overwhelming because Nansen offers so much to,
Right.
someone who may not be super familiar. So I think that's pretty helpful. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, my pleasure. And do we have another question in the chat?
I think Spencer, right? Ryan, you brought Spencer up.
Yeah, hey. I
Yes,
I love Nansen. It looks very cool, but just a couple questions. When you were going through like
Sure.
the whole thing on Zoom, I couldn't like when I was going through it on my own computer and I couldn't see like the what's the chart for the OpenSea volume. Like, is there like a specific reason for that?
a look. So we were at, so I'm going to go back to Paradise, and then I'll just select OpenC here. Which, were you looking at like this top 5 collections chart?
I'm on Paradise, and I think it's on Trends, where the OpenSea volume is.
Okay, yeah. So trends. This is something new. It's in beta right now, so you may not have access on your end. So that's probably what the reasoning is for that.
Second question is, like, what are the things I should look for when I'm like trying to trade NFTs? Is like any like what are the most important like metrics? Is it the smart money, like what the smart money is buying, or what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely say tracking smart money is going to be the best use case in terms of following kind of their strategy. I would say also being able to, once you identify an opportunity that's kind of in your investment, meets your investment criteria, and smart money entities are kind of piling into it, it's good to be able to track kind of where these smart money entities are buying. So when we went into the NFT God Mode tool, and then from NFT God Mode, there's the individual transactions at the bottom. So we got a sneaky vampire syndicate, and then we see the individual transactions here. This is going to be a pretty good metric for you as a benchmark to see what like a fair value price is when you're entering or going to be purchasing a particular NFT. You can drop extreme outliers here. You can see where smart money's buying. And if you see multiple smart money entities purchasing this particular or NFTs within this collection, you could then kind of do a breakdown, move into their wallets, see what other NFTs that they're holding, set up alerts on different transactions of things that you think are interesting. So yeah, in short, I would say tracking what these smart money entities are doing is probably going to be the biggest value add here on Nansen.
Thank you.
Sure, you're welcome.
I'm sorry, can I ask one more question, please?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, okay.
Happy to.
So since we are on this topic on smart money, perhaps you could share with us how Nansen profiles smart money wallets. What kind of matrix you guys use? Is it through their revenue, through their profits? And then the leading question is, how often do you all update these smart money wallets? So, for instance, will a smart money wallet become a not smart money wallet anymore? Or how often do you guys add new smart money wallets into your profiling? Yep.
Yeah, that's a great question. We'll start off with kind of how we identify smart money. So in order to find all of the information on everyone who is considered a smart money entity, is if you come down here to the lower right and then select wallet labels and terminology, what do they mean, and then click read more. This link is going to present you with this glossary here. So then this glossary is going to provide you with the specific label, and then those labels that are with the corresponding description. So like, for example, a smart NFT trader is going to be the top 100 addresses in terms of profits from NFT sales, and top addresses based on our internal trade score metric. So there's some like proprietary algorithms in terms of our internal trade score metric. But once people come, or NFT traders, smart NFT traders, they'll come in and out. I believe on the day, because we are only looking at the top 100 addresses. So that's kind of, I hope that answers your question. So on the day, it's only going to give us 100 entities as a smart money trader, hodler, or early adopter. So people are coming in and out of that criteria.
Okay, so it get refreshed on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks for answering. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Can I address any other questions? Happy to.
Hello, guys.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, great. Firstly, congratulations on the great Vampirus drop. I have a golden vampire, so I'm very happy. And secondly, I had a question regarding Nansen because I'm a small NFT holder. What are like the advantages I have as like a small holder instead of like the large, you know?
Yeah, so some of the advantages that you would have are you just like a holder and you kind of or are you actively kind of trading and looking for new opportunities? Are you still there? Well,
Well, are you
I'll
still
try to
there?
answer your question. Try to answer his question as
Let's
best
just
I can. But
assume. Yeah, let's just assume he's small holder.
okay, so
Maybe
yeah,
someone
if
is
you're
looking to get into trading.
okay, so if you were holding right now and you wanted to get into trading, taking a look at some of the tools inside of our our NFT paradise, and then specifically smart money, for example. If you wanted to, if you had like a few ETH that you wanted to allocate towards trading, I would definitely say coming over here and first like verifying what the trends are. Do you see consistency in terms of the people that are smart buys on a specific collection? I mean, Mutant Ape might be out of the question for many people, but maybe you see some consistency on the first or second page on a particular collection over the course of a few days. You can kind of watch that trend and see if anything is changing with it, or if that NFT collection tends to be on the smart buy list. That could be something worth noting. In addition to that, you could kind of play the inverse of that if you see maybe some smart sells or just general volume decreasing on the if you come over here to the market overview section, and then maybe you're looking at like the second page here, you're keeping a track of maybe CyberKong's, watching its volume taking place, and you see the volume trends moving upward. Typically, that's a good sign of more people coming into the project and purchasing it. You can also see how the floor has changed over time. So as you can see, we have our 24 and 3-day floor kind of pricing there. So has the trend been down? Is like CyberKong's, for example, the past 24 hours, it's down more than it has been today than it has been over the past 3 days. So maybe that's something that you want to keep an eye on. You probably want to see something that is relatively trending upwards on the past day as opposed to the past 3 days. So you'd want to see green is on the 24-hour and maybe even like a lesser number on the 3 days, so we can see an uptrend in terms of the floor price. So that's kind of some things that you can look at. Volume as well, as I mentioned earlier. Volume is pretty important. That's what's going to be a big driver in the price. And then lastly, the smart alerts. So when you do maybe find a collection that like an NFT God mode, and or you find somebody here in the profit or minting leaderboard and you see an NFT holding within their collection, just keeping an eye to track to see if that entity is consistently trading, or are they holding that position. Typically, if they're holding or selling it for a profit, that's going to be a good thing to track and set up a smart alert on.
Oh, thank you very much. That sounds fantastic. I'll definitely look into buying Nansen, and I want to thank you for your time.
Thank you for the question. I also brought up Maj, who had their hand up a while ago.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank
So
you very much.
just before you start, Maj, Chris, this should just be the last question, and then we'll just wrap it up after here. So go ahead, Maj. Thank you.
Sounds great.
Okay, one thing, like I've been listening to the EMA like right now, but like a dummy, I didn't join the Zoom, so I didn't see like what you showed for the entire discussion. Like, is there a way to like to catch it up, just to like to see how Nansen is working?
Yeah, yeah.
Phase two.
You should be
I'm
able to
sorry, I
watch the
just missed it.
recording.
Like,
Yeah, don't worry. So don't worry, Maj. Sorry, Chris. I'll just answer quickly. Yeah, so we record everything, Maj. Ryan has recorded the whole thing, so there's no stress. You can just catch up on it afterwards. As soon as it's uploaded, Ryan will just ping it out and inform you guys, and then you can just have a watch back of everything that Chris went through, and then you can just get you essentially didn't miss anything, so no worries.
thank you very much.
Cool. And then just one last thing from me to kind of wrap it up, just as a reminder about the like midpoint of the 2-week trial. Again, I'm just going to send a quick questionnaire. It's just 2 really quick questions. I'd really appreciate it if the community here could answer that. We'll be hosting a second AMA to address some of the questions that take place with that questionnaire. So the more questions, the better. So that way we can kind of make it a very interactive next session, as opposed to me kind of walking through and demonstrating the product for the second session. So that'd be great. And then if any of you have any questions about not being able to access your 2-week trial, please let me know. I'm happy to help out. You can I can provide my email address to the SVS team, and feel free to reach out to me.
Sounds perfect.
Cool.
So I think that's it, everyone. Thank you so much, Chris, for the hour, and thank you for putting that together and coming and doing the AMA with community. So I think on our end, that's it. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in as well. We hope you enjoy your trial for those of you who did manage to get it, and we'll speak again pretty soon.
Awesome. Thank you all so
Thanks so
much.
much, Chris.
Thank you. Have a good rest of your day or
All
night,
good.
everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.